Okay, we're going to regulate our emotion center this morning. I'm going to count you down from three, two, one, and we will do three inhales and three exhales. Three, two, one. I'm coming back in frame. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Dr. Donna Louise Thomas-Rodgers, daughter of Leslie Darnell Thomas, granddaughter of Arthur Jethro Evelyn II, and great granddaughter of Levi Thomas. Excuse me. Welcome. Good morning, Lola. Welcome to your morning mental workout. Something is happening in the air this morning. Here we have rain, and so some things have come down. So I feel a little congested today, but I will continue to persevere and move on. Today's topic is Principle of Real Leadership number 40, and it is provide coaching. So I would just like to start with the Real Leader expanded version definition of coaching so that we are all on one accord. So, coaching is not about giving answers, it's about asking powerful, brain stimulating questions that guide others to discover insights on their own. I'm going to say that again. Coaching is not about giving answers, it is about asking powerful, brain stimulating questions that guides others to discover insights on their own. A coach helps build new neural pathways through reflection, feedback, and personal accountability. A coach helps build new neural pathways through reflection, feedback, and personal accountability. Real leaders coach by creating a safe space, I say this every day when we leave, for cognitive discomfort. I'm going to say that again. Real leaders coach by creating a safe space for cognitive discomfort, rewiring, and forward motion. So, this is a safe space for cognitive discomfort for you to rewire, and I'm going to say create new wires and forward motion. Grow continually. Grow continually. So, that's what providing coaching is. I'm not a life coach. That's a whole nother group of non-expert people. That's not what's happening. So you're here to discover your own insights. You're here to have neural reflection, create new neural pathways, rewire some things that you unwired because you might have been dealing with some unaccountable people, but you should feel cognitively discomforted every day that you're here. This is not pillow place. This is not manufactured dopamine. You should feel cognitive discomfort. That's the whole purpose of it. That's the whole purpose. Because when you are discomforted, you go to the hippocampus bank of neurons and you make daily withdrawals. And you then use those new neurons that you got to fire and wire for your own insights, for your own self reflection, for your own personal benefit for your brain to use its 86 billion neurons to create 860 trillion synaptic connections. This is for you. You're here for you. Lola, you are at the gym during most of these lessons, and you are at the gym for your own physicality, for your own physical fitness purpose, with your own physical fitness goals. When you come here, you are here for your own neurological benefit to boost and strengthen your prefrontal cortex and the other regions of your brain and regulate your emotional center. That's why you're here. That's why you're here. That's what the purpose of this is every day. You need to be discomforted. You need to be discomforted. You need to be discomforted. Okay. So with that being said, here, make sure that you have your water for today. 75% of your brain is water, and so you need to hydrate. We already did the 3 deep breaths. Now, here's the quote that's in my book, is that the teams that win consistently have the best coaches. The teams that win Okay, so first of all, I got this, Lola. Hulk 24, don't come on here with any of your religious fodder. Because, first of all, Lola is a Muslim. So you didn't pray to anybody because that's not her belief system. So you are new and you are here disrupting what I'm doing. So you can take your religious mumbo jumbo, Bible thumping, holy rolling ass bullshit and you can get the fuck off my life. Because I'm talking about the brain. And here you are with your rhetoric. God did not tell you to come and disrupt what I'm doing because I've been appointed and anointed for this purpose. So you are on the wrong motherfucking line. And yep, I did curse too. I'm a gangster Christian. So don't come over here with your stupid ass pastor told you to go minister to some people bullshit. Because you can't even tell who actually is a prophet over here and an educator, somebody who has already been called for a different mission. So take your bullshit somewhere else because God ain't told you to do none of this. And he especially didn't tell you to say it to Lola. That's how I know you ain't hearing from somebody. Get the fuck off my live and quit being disrespectful to other people. Just gonna assume that somebody is a Christian without even fucking asking. How dare you? Go away. Go away. Be gone. Lola don't need to hear shit. You the one that needed to hear something. And you came over here with some bullshit. Don't fucking play with me or God. Get the fuck off my live. You ain't heard shit from God, fake ass Christian. Get your bitch ass on. God ain't woke you up this morning and told you no bullshit like that. You and your raggedy ass church. Get the fuck off my live. Fucking Pharisaians, fake ass Christians. Ain't heard shit from God since 1972. Ain't no way God woke you up this morning and told you no bullshit like that. The fuck out of here. Lola, I'm sorry you had to experience that. Say something else so I can block your stupid ass. As I was saying before, that ignorant ass Pharisee showed up on my live with their fucking church ass bullshit. And I said it. The teams that win consistently have the best coaches. Come over here with no fucking bullshit. I got a switch in my chat. So the brain regions that we use for coaching is as follows. Number one is the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. And the function is the executive functions. It's planning, goal setting, working memory, and cognitive flexibility. The coaching role is it supports structure guidance, problem solving, and helping others see future possibilities, creating actionable steps. So why this matters? Coaches need strong working memories and flexible thinking to tailor their approach to individual needs. That's how you know that you are dealing with a real coach. If you've ever been on any sport in any participation whatsoever, and leaders have the ability to coach as well, is that it is flexible thinking and it tailors to each person's individual needs. If a coach cannot tell you what you need to do to be successful in whatever it is that you're doing, then they are not a real leader and they are not a real coach. If they have some cookie cutter ass approach that says you need to fit in this, and if you don't fit in this, then something's wrong with you, not me, that is on the fault of the coach. And that's why I don't like life coaches, because it's a boo. I got my 6-week certification, and this is the process, and this is all you can do. And if you just do this one thing, we are 6 billion different adults, And we have 6 billion different ways that we live our lives on a daily basis. And if someone isn't able to tell you customarily what you need to do about the process that they're providing for you in order for you to do it, use it, and become your best, then they're full of shit. And they don't know what they're talking about. Number 2 is the ventral medial prefrontal cortex. And the function is emotional regulation, decision making, moral judgment, and empathy. And the coaching role is that it facilitates trust building and empathy during feedback, enabling the coach to connect emotionally without being emotionally overwhelmed. And why this matters is that real leaders must give feedback in ways that preserve psychological safety and foster growth. It's a process that we use when I was in Toastmasters, which was positive, negative, positive. So you tell someone something positive, you then put the negative thing that they need to work on in the middle, and then you put a positive spin on the back half of that so that people feel like, oh, this is good feedback. I can use this. I can change this defective character, this flaw, this skill, this mistake that I made. It's okay because I can continue to grow forward. So again, as I said, it is a safe space. And if someone comes over here trying to make it an unsafe space, they can fuck around and find out that it's still going to be a safe space and they're not going to be allowed to be able to come back here. That's what that is. So go ahead on Saturday because you're waiting on football to show up and you can find out today. Number 3 is the ACC, and it is the anterior cingulate cortex. So the function is error detection, impulse control, conflict monitoring, and emotional awareness. And we know that the ACC is the referee. So when the amygdala tries to start popping off and trying to send cortisol to the prefrontal cortex, the ACC and the insula are like, we're not doing that. When your brain is strong, you will have emotional regulation. And when it is not, the wind could change directions and you'll be then lost your mind and your amygdala can hijack you. So from a coaching perspective, coaching's role is that this allows the coach to sense when to intervene or pivot coaching approaches and helps regulate their own emotional responses to the coachee's resistance or discomfort. And so it enhances the coach ability to balance encouragement with accountability. And at this point, I'd just like to say, so after the live yesterday, Nola had to understand what was taking place for her with me saying the quiz and her having difficulty processing it. And so we went through a whole process. 4 hours later, she now has apps that are going to help her understand from a listening perspective what she needs to work on based upon her mental illnesses and just being able to listen effectively, because we aren't taught how to actively listen in school either. And so now she is set up for success. And we added one more thing to her Real Leader resources as she turns them in every day. So she has 11 things to turn in now instead of 10. And I know, Regina, if you're on here or not, if you're listening, you're like, whoa, she got 11 things that she turning in every day. Yeah, because she has 365 challenges, three 365-day challenges that she has completed. So she is definitely having to advance in her other things that she is working on. And so, yes, the coach will give you the ability to balance your personal accountability, but to also understand you're going to be experiencing discomfort. And that is what neurological growth is about. That's what real leadership is about, is that you're going to experience discomfort, especially coming from Loserville, where comfort is king and queen and prince and princess and everything. And we talked about manufactured dopamine yesterday. So over here, you have to produce your own dopamine. You have to do it neurologically and naturally day in and day out. And that's where the discomfort is. It's because it's delayed gratification. It is not immediate gratification. And a good coach knows, here's what you're going to need to do. I understand if you go do a strenuous workout, the next 2 days, your muscles are going to be hurting. You're going to be like, oh my God, my legs. We did legs the other day at the gym, and whew, you just don't understand. Same thing. We had 2 pop quizzes back to back, and neurologically, you got some information, and it may have thrown you off your square. You may have been fine with it. Other cognitive fitness thinking Thursdays may have thrown you off. If you're in a challenge, then that may have thrown you off as well. But that is designed on purpose for you to be able to go to the hippocampus bank of neurons, make daily withdrawals, and create new neural pathways. All of that creates discomfort. Next is the temporal parietal junction, and that's where the temporal lobe and the parietal lobe meet. That nice little crossway is where the temporal parietal junction is. And so the function is perspective taking. theory of mind, and understanding intentions of others. So the coach's role is to enhance the coach's ability to mentally step into the coachee's perspective, fostering personalized and effective coaching. Why this matters is without perspective taking, coaches become rigid and ineffective. So a coach that isn't growing continually, that's just stuck in a rut and stuck in their ways, cannot coach a coachee. So an old school coach has been around for 40, 50 years. If they are not constantly growing and a new Z shows up on the scene, they are not going to know what to do. And that coachee is going to miss out on growth opportunities because the coach themselves is stuck. So the coach has to be someone that is growth minded and is continuously growing and improving, or the team will not continuously grow and improve. And this is for parents, this is for grandparents, this is for anybody. As I mentioned, start seeing the people that are around you as a team, because then you will be focused on winning. When you say family, when you say my church members or whatever it is, then you say that you don't see yourselves as a team. You're not going to work together. You're not going to focus on winning. And winning in this instance is just meaning that everybody is operating at their best. Now, the insular cortex is for self awareness, introspection, and that's basically internal sensing and social awareness. And so the coaching role is it helps both the coach and the coachee develop greater emotional insights and self awareness. And why this matters is coaching is ineffective if neither party is tuned into the emotional subtext. So if you don't have an actual relationship with the person that you're attempting to coach, it's never going to work. If people say, something's off, we didn't have any chemistry. That's what people usually use that term, especially if they're dating. But if you are not connected to the person from an empathetic, emotional perspective and not trauma bonding, but just in sync with them, you're human, I'm a human, we're focused on the same goals, let's go off and make things happen, then it's not going to work. Number 6 is the mirror neuron system, and primarily in the inferior frontal gyrus and inferior parietal lobe. And the function is that it's observing, learning, imitation, and social memory. Team chemistry is still a term. Thank you for that note. It's not working because I don't see it often, but okay, maybe it's a term, but it's not being implemented. Coaching role facilitates modeling behavior. And so the coach's tones, actions, and emotional regulation can neurologically train the coachee's brains through observations. So leaders who provide coaching are neural behavioral models, whether they realize it or not. Whomever you are coaching is going to listen to what you do. Whomever you are coaching, whomever you are responsible for, they are going to pick up on your behavior. So if you have children, grandchildren, people you are mentoring, employees, staff, whomever it is, they're going to listen to what you do. And so no matter what you say, they're going to mirror what they saw you do. That's why they had all those TikTok videos of little kids whose grandparents take care of them. And now the little kids are acting just as old as the grandparents because they picked up on those mirror neurons. And that is what they have done. Noah said new coaches don't know how to do it or recruit players that work well together. That is correct. I second that revelation of yours. Next is the hippocampus. And so the hippocampus, the function is memory consolidation and learning from experience. So the coach's role is to help encode and recall previous learning moments and progress checkpoints. So it reinforces long-term growth. So why does this matter? A coach who helps others link current lessons to prior experiences creates lasting change. And so here's the bonus: amygdala regulation. When coaching is emotionally intense or accountability is high, both parties must regulate amygdala activation. Leaders with strong prefrontal cortex amygdala loops help reduce fear or defensiveness in those that they coach. So those brain regions, again, that you're using to coach are the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, the ventral medial prefrontal cortex, the anterior cingulate cortex, the temporal parietal junction, the insular cortex, the mirror neurons, and the hippocampus with the bonus of amygdala regulation. So at this point, I would like to ask a question, and I'm going to ask, have you ever had to coach anyone in your life? Have you ever had to coach anyone in your life? And remember, it is ... I believe it is you and I, Nola. Okay. Oh, Lola, you're here. I thought you were exercising. Got it. Okay. And Kevin. All right. And so then all of you know that coaching people to for whatever purpose, it is a challenge in and of itself to be able to do that. And so you grow. And that's the one thing that I wrote in my book is that when you provide coaching, you have to grow as a person too, especially if they're the bigger the gauge at. I can't see the number because the white on my screen, the white is covering up the white. So on my screen is white, but it's right above the where this graphic is. So I can't see how many people are on the live this morning. So what you can understand is that coaching other people is difficult. And so I'm going to say what I was going to say before that person came, that holy rolling Bible thumping person showed up on my live with their stupid rhetoric. And I'm going to say this. This is training. And so anybody who has ever played a sport knows that you have to train and then you have to practice. So you have to train. Here's where you train, and then you have to practice. And so this week's book that I'm reading is called Top Secret. And it's a company that is falling apart. It's a parable, but it's a company that's falling apart. And so they go and interview high performance teams. As we know, y'all probably remember or not, but that's what my dissertation was on, high performance teams based upon Robert Northhouse path goal theory. So they went to different industries and interviewed different people. And they interviewed a brigadier general from the Army who was responsible for special forces. And if you don't know what special forces is, they are higher than the Rangers. Their special forces is equivalent to Navy SEALs, SEAL Team 6. So they go in and make shit happen and leave, and you might not never know that they were there. They the hua-huas of all hua. And so he was giving them the three things that you need in order for special forces to work. And one of it was training. And I've got so much training on my OERs, it doesn't even make sense. On my DD 214, when you get out, they say all the schools that you went to. And it is training. It's training, 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 and then it's practice, practice, practice. It's training, 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 and then it's practice, practice, practice. So Nola and I were having this conversation right before the live. And so this is your training. And again, I'm figuring this out as we all go along because I'm closing a gap that is currently in education in and of itself. And so Instagram subscription is where the practice happens. And so Nola asked me yesterday, that's why, Kevin, you got that question about football, because she was like, I want to ask Kevin a question about football. Is it okay if I ask him in the chat? I'm like, sure. That's where your interactions should take place. So here we are training the brain. Over there, you are practicing because it is a safe space. This is an open environment, as we saw currently, because my channel doesn't meet the requirements of YouTube to go private. But I do have those capabilities on TikTok and Instagram because you need a safe space to practice what you've learned about your brain. That's the whole purpose of it, as it is coming to me every day. I'm making adjustments because my objective is there are 6 billion adults in the world and they are all living off of manufactured dopamines will hijack the amygdalas. How am I going to get their attention? Well, how? How does that work? How do I penetrate through with all of this negativity bias and everything taking place? And so the practice happens over there. And the other thing that Nola and I will start doing next Monday is we're both going live because, and y'all can chime in, Lola and Kevin and anybody else that's been here before. Y'all can't see it because I'm so far away from where y'all are. Y'all are in the infancy stages of real leadership, and I'm over here talking about no screen time, and I'm about to regulate the shit out of my limbic system, where I'm gonna be cool as the other side of the pillow, no matter what's taking place. And so Nola's in the middle. She's able to say, listen, I got 3 mental illnesses. I did not have my shit together. She almost kicked me out the house and everything else because she was like, I'm done with your ass. You ain't a real leader. Fuck you. You could go. So she can speak to all of what took place for her to now have 365-day certificates. Because y'all think it's hard for you. That's my offspring. She got it harder than second to me. So I'm not cutting no slack. Ain't no dog on what's it called? Nepotism over here. Absolutely. Listen, miss a day. See what happens to you. So the standard is the standard in order for her to be able, because you might not be able to ask me, but you can ask her. Because she'll be able to tell you, yeah, I came home and she took both my books away from me and threw my cards in the trash because I wasn't being a real leader. But here are the things that I'm working on. So it will be helpful for you. So at first I was saying, yeah, you don't really need to be in it. I'm doing the research and stuff. But as I continue to think about it, this is training, that's practice. Because my question to you, Kevin and Lola, is when are you practicing using your brain? When are you practicing it in a safe space? When is that happening? Because you get off the live and you got to go back to your life. That's what takes place. And so your life is lifing. So when do you get to test out if this is going to work, if this is a good idea? So let me know, because again, this is open forum. And I thought about it. I said, everybody has the ability to become a real leader. I'm just a real leader with a 10th degree black belt in real leadership. Doesn't mean that other people can't get to the 10th degree black belt in real leadership. That's not what's happening. Not at all. Every day. And how do you do that every day, Kevin? What's something that you do every day? And I'm seeking to understand, because again, we all leave and then you go off to your day, I go off to my day. And even if you're in a challenge, you're still turning in something that I've already created. So, and my only question that I have over here is, who did you have a brain conversation with yesterday? So I'm trying to assess what is taking, what's sticking, what's not sticking. Because we don't take tests over here. I mean, the quizzes, but that's for you to mental things. That ain't testing this. And because it's provide coaching, that's why I'm asking this right now, because I need to know if I'm providing the right coaching. And people have asked me this question more than once. Am I building a cult over here? I'm like, I don't know. I saw a gap in the world. I saw a gap in adults, and I said, we could be better than this. We could be better. So that's why it doesn't matter what your religion is, your sexual orientation. I don't care about your social economic status, your education background, or whatever. I'm saying when you learn how to use your brain, everything else that you go off and do is extraordinary. So how do you learn how to use your brain and use it in a way that helps you become extraordinary? Now, I don't know what about that makes it seem like that's cult like. I don't have any red hats. I don't have any shirts to sell. You don't put my name on your body. There are a lot of organizations where you got to put their letters on you. You got to put their stuff on. This football season, you got to put the jersey on. You got to put, yes, but you're not the only person, Kevin. You're not even the only person that's ever asked that question. That's why when you said it, I already had an answer for you. You just used a different cult. Like, I don't even have, like, I'm not even saying, I mean, a cult, you have to come together. I said that there will never be a real leader conference. There will never be. I've never even given y'all a physical description of a real leader. I've said unaccountable people. I didn't even give a description of unaccountable people because it's behaviors. So I'm like, cult, what's taking place that would say that? Because I'm saying real leader, because here's the thing. When we look at people all the time, Nola and I, we can go and say that person was an old lineman. Oh, that person, we could tell by looking at somebody that's older what they did in their former younger life. And so what being a real leader means, if somebody tells you I was on SEAL team, you like, oh, you a bad motherfucker right there. Look at that right there. So in saying I'm a real leader, you're saying I'm the best. If you ask me to do something, you're going to get my best. I make phenomenal banana pudding. I make a lasagna that got blessed off by a 100% Italian man whose grandmama came from Italy. That's how good my lasagna is. So it says I am the best at what I do, whatever it is that I do. So cults tell you to do it exactly this way. Think of the people that are in the Bayhive, or the people that are Barbies, or the cult fans of rock groups. It's a soul. Yeah. Ozzy Osbourne just passed. You got black male polish on it. I'm like, wear whatever you want to wear. I don't care what you wear, because it's not what you wear, it's who you are. That's what this is about. This is not about being a replica of me. We already got me. The world can't take two Dr. Donna Thomas-Rodgers. So when I hear cult, I'm like, you got people that literally got tattoos of people, of other people. They gonna live and die. You talk about Beyonce online, you got 1 million people in your spam about to fuck you up, so, over some music. Like, and so I'm trying to understand that if I'm saying use your brain in order to become this thing, because you got to call it something. It's real leadership. And then go off and do these amazing things. So Kevin said, I'm guilty of asking Dr. Donna if she built a cult. I share on my social media pages and platforms. Hold up. Information that I learned from being on your daily lives. I just presented it in a different fashion to Dr. Donna, which is what you're supposed to do because you are. And that's the other thing, Kevin. You don't present it like me because you're not me. So you take it. It's like if you look up the definition of a word and you paraphrase it to match the people that have chosen to follow you, that's you customizing it for you. That's what real leadership is. It's you saying, I took what I learned and now I'm going to put the hookism on it and present it to the people that I'm presenting. That's the whole purpose of real leadership, is it is customizable. When you're dealing with a cult, you got to say everybody look exactly alike. Everybody got the same thing going. Everybody listen to the same music. Everybody watches the same stuff. Everybody eats the same stuff. And it's one supreme leader that everybody worships, and you can't be you at any point in any time. So when I think of a cult, I think of Helter Skelter. I think of, what's his name? Charles Manson. And a bunch of, there's a bunch of other people throughout history where they went and it's destructive. So it can't be constructive, it's destructive. It's like, oh, I'm going to take all, give me all your money. Like $30 ain't going it's like sell all your shit and move to the commune. And like, that's what I think of. I'm like, keep all your stuff. Drive what you want to drive. Wear what you want to wear. Just be a bad mofo while you're doing it. So that's what's happening. Nola said like 3 or 4 people have asked her before you. Right, Kevin, you were not the first person. Lola said, I breathe, I put my hands in my face in cold water to calm my amygdala. I'm doing math problems, I'm taking risks, I'm reading, I'm going to the gym, I'm answering questions, I'm talking to people more. And Lola said, I'm learning how to use different parts of the brain, I'm meditating. And you're learning Arabic too. Thanks. That makes me feel better. Yes. And so, Kevin, if you want to be honest, I would just like for you to answer what made you ask that question. And Lola, I do apologize if I went overboard, but I really don't like when people start forcing their religion on other people. That is a personal choice. That's like your voting and everything else. Leave people alone. People can choose to have a higher power or not. That is a personal decision. And I definitely, not over here. We're not even talking about anybody's religion over here. So I don't appreciate that at all. So I might have went a little bit ham, but yeah, everybody has the right to worship or not worship. That is your personal choice. That is your personal choice. And so we not gonna have that. We talking about the brain over here. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. And plus, I didn't know if you were working on the gym, you couldn't see what the person wrote either. But no, that's to let all the other people know. Don't bring that crap over here, because that's what it is. So from a coaching perspective, Kevin is going to type up that his understanding of what made him ask that question, because I'm not in contact with the other people that asked that question. So I was like, cool. Maybe people should look up the definition, because it's a there's a bunch of cult-esque situations over there. So I will continue on. 3 reasons why people avoid coaching is this: amygdala activation, so fear of conflict or rejection. And so what happens is you believe that if I coach this person and give them this information, that they're going to reject what I'm saying. So you say, it's better for me not to say anything at all. And that's no bueno, because avoidance and silence and sugarcoating, it makes leaders choose comfort over correction and weakening team performance. And so I'm just not going to do. Yes, it has come up many a time. And I'm saying, and I know it was an open forum, but I'm saying, what about me says cult like? That's what I'm saying. Because it could be a blind spot for me that I'm unaware of, so that I could clear it up for people even more. Like, what am I demonstrating that says, if you look at the cult leaders, Jim Jones and Charles Manson and the rest of them, people in I can't think of Waco and all of them. It's a bunch of them. So what about me says we all have similar behaviors? along with the fact that what we are doing isn't being done or practiced by any other group of people. I see. I see. And what I will say to that is the people who supported Apple early on were considered crazy as hell. And you have an iPhone, Kevin. So when people were talking about the Macintosh and all of that, and iPads and iPhones and iPods and touchscreens and everything, so it's more so being a disruptor and I actually have a Brilliant Leader brain that talks about being a disruptor. And so it's disrupting the status quo, and that makes people uncomfortable because the amygdala is speaking and saying, hold up, you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing. You an African American light-skinned woman with some degrees, so you should be coffee with cream, and was supposed to stay at Frito-Lay, and I should be talking like this, and I should be saying. And so what's going to happen with the supply chain is that right now we're going to EV vehicles, and we're going to roll them out at 3 of the major traffic centers. We're going 1, 2, 3. And basically, we have 2 teams that will be emerging. We have the soft launch, which is going to be taking place in the fall. We're going to roll it out on October 1st. We have all of our experts. We've already done the test. And yes, and my daughter's doing quite well. She just finished up at Stanford. Yes, and so she's going to be coming on with the team as well. She'll be running in the manufacturing section. We're going to have her start just at the Orlando plant, just like I did. Yeah, so yes, and we're doing great. But I digress. So let's get back to the topic at hand. Now, once we do the soft launch, we're going to do the hard launch in November, right before Thanksgiving. Yes, we are. And it looks like we've gone 50 minutes, so let's go ahead and take a break. We're going to go to the restrooms on the left and the right. And when you come back, have all your questions ready. We're going to write them on the flip chart. So since I didn't do that, nobody knows what the heck to do with me. Nola said it. Nobody can imitate me, because she's like, well, you don't have any real, some things that you do, but then your face doesn't move, and you don't have any sayings that you say all the time. So if you tried to imitate you, who would do it? And I said Maya Rudolph probably would be the best person to imitate me, but you can't. So I get it, because you're trying to put me in a box. And I've said, I'm not playing in a sandbox when the galaxy can be my playground. So I've done this purposely on purpose to make people experience discomfort. Because as soon as you think you got me in a bag, I'm like, ta-da, and I appear over in a whole nother part of the brain, in the other part of the room, in the other part of the world. So I get it. I understand it, but humanity needs to change. We have not had a change in humanity ever. All people still operate exactly the same. Right now, Nola is watching Alexander. I think it's on Netflix, and people are the same. People are the same from the 300s, from the thousands and thousands and thousands. Some people will argue billions of years ago, depending on what scientists you talk to. They are exactly the same. And we need to progress past diseased brains, we just keep having more and more mental illnesses being discovered. Why don't we have more humans doing things that we never thought was possible? There only gets to be a couple innovators in the world. That's it. Couple in America, couple in other countries, and that's it. We got to follow them. We're supposed to be following Bezos and Elon Musk now, because they're going to Mars and they're geniuses, and we ain't got no more geniuses. Neil deGrasse Tyson, that's it. So we don't get to have no more geniuses, no more inventors, no more extraordinary people until they die. Then somebody else will emerge. And I'm saying, flag on the play. Everybody gets to be extraordinary. So the second reason why people don't coach is because of cognitive overload. The dorsolateral prefrontal cortex creates fatigue and underuse. And so what happens is micromanaging, not developing others, and skipping reflective dialogue. And we had delegate the other day, and we understood the benefits of delegating. And then the final one is a low activation in the temporal parietal junction and the ventromedial prefrontal cortex. So it's a lack of empathy. And what happens is one size fits all behavior for coaching, misunderstanding the coachee's needs, or skipping coaching altogether. Back in the day when you were playing football, Kevin, they used to develop football players. Now you got to come ready. You got to come ready for college football. You got to come ready for the pros. How? If you never played in the pros before, how you gonna be ready to play in the pros? If you never played college, SEC football, Power Five, whatever, I don't care, D3, NAIA, it don't matter. If you never played at that level, how you gonna be ready to play at that level? Because that group is not saying 2 levels up. I am, because I was in the military. So what happens is the people who can kind of play at that level, there is no player development, none. Why? Because the coaches haven't been developed. Because the old heads didn't mentor the young kids. They retired and left, or said, fuck it, you think you know everything, and now just try to figure it out. And so that's what we have collectively, is that succession planning is diminishing at nanoseconds. And so people neurologically don't have the ability to coach. They don't have the neurological pathways. Lola, and I know I keep mentioning you and I keep bragging about you, but you in January, all that stuff that you just listed, you couldn't do this time last year. You were not doing it. And now you are doing all these extraordinary things. Why? Because you got the neural pathways to do it. You created those neural pathways yourself, independent of anybody else on these lives or in the world. You did that. You were doing things that you didn't know were possible because you went to the hippocampus bank of neurons and made daily withdrawals to do those things. That's what happens. Without this live, I would be, oh shit, I didn't even read that. Without this live, I would be stuck with no braino. I take these lessons you give seriously. And that's what I'm saying, is that's what's happening, is coaching isn't happening. Development isn't happening. People are concerned with getting their bread, getting this shmoney, getting a new house, getting a car, getting a new woo, and all of these other things. And I'm going to pull up and I'm going to get this, and I got to have this much, and I got to have, and I'm not, there's nothing wrong with acquiring wealth. Nothing wrong with it. Dirty hands, clean money, and all money ain't good money. But when you get it the right way, keep it. And then create economic development for those people coming behind you and pour it back into the community in which you got it from. That's how the wealth system works. And so I'm saying people don't have the neurological capacity to coach. It's impossible to do because people don't have it. They don't have it. Why? Because the brain has atrophied. Because it is easier for manufacturing dopamine. You just get you some dopamine. We talked about it yesterday. Just get your bump, get your hit. Go ahead and scroll through social media. Why are you, Dr. Donna, why are you talking about create dopamine? Why are you trying to create this new neural pathway? You know, it takes 8 days to create a neural pathway and 21 days to make a habit. All you got to do is scroll through social media. Here go a shortcut right here. Just enter into a Faustian bargain. That's all you got to do. Just sell your soul to the man. That's it. And then you're going to have all of these ill-gotten gains, and then you're going to be happy. Yeah, that part. So because people have cognitive overload, atrophied brains, this is why you can't get developed. This is why you can't get information. And this is why it appears that I must be up to something. The amygdala's like, yeah, I don't trust it. Why? Why it's only $30? Why the subscription only $9? Why she just doing? She up to something. She must have some. She got some ulterior motive that she. Okay, cool. All right. So go pay Tony Robbins $5,000 for what? He been around since Guthrie Winkler in the 80s. Ain't shit changed with people? What changed? What changed? Grant Cardone got millions of followers. Gary Vee, everybody, all of them, they all got millions of followers. Why are we still sitting in the same situation? You got to know somebody to know them that participated. What's different? What's different between the neuroscientist, the psychiatrist, and the psychologist that was already here before me? Because I was minding my own business. I was just teaching leadership. I was just teaching. That's all I was doing. And then I was like, okay, don't nobody know how to use their brain. My thing can't work because this thing don't work. Now Lola just said it. I'd have been stuck, and that would have been no braino. And now she over here running on all cylinders, killing the game. It's not fair because she too high up in the air. We blasting off just like a laser. Okay, anyway, the point is, so I realize I'm not supposed to be saying song lyrics, even though my shirt has it on. My point is that people are neurologically inept, and they want to make it seem like they're not. So if it appears that I'm doing anything disruptive, I am. Because I'm not going to die not having attempted to make an actual difference in humanity before I check out of here. I'm not going to we just decided the other day, I'm going to be buried with full military honors in a military grave site. Yes, I am, because nobody in my family has ever done it before. What? You're going to have to go to a military grave site to come and talk to my tombstone. Yes, you are. Because at first I was going to get cremated. Then I said, hell no. We're going to go, they're going to be seeing their great-great-grandmama. That's great-great-grandma right there. That's Captain Thomas. She did big shit in the military and in the world. Look at her tombstone. That's what's about to take place. Hell yeah. They said, you want it? Hell yeah, I want all of it. Every last bit of it. I worked my ass off for 5.5 years. We're going to know about it. The world going to know that I was here. Anyway, the point is, neurologically, you need to make a shift. And so here it is. You got to shift from amygdala-driven threat responses to prefrontal cortex-guided emotional regulation. So the old wiring says, if I give feedback, they might react badly, so I better avoid it. No, fuck that. New wiring. Feedback builds the brain. And emotional discomfort is temporary. And Lola is sitting here because of that. It's temporary. That's what she's saying. I would have been stuck. I would have been stuck where I was neurologically. And so the brain regions involved in this are the amygdala. And so you're going to get it regulated. And then the ventral medial and dorsolateral prefrontal cortex are upregulated. Amygdala is going to be chilling, slow down, be quiet. And the prefrontal cortex, the ventral medial and the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex are what's responsible for that loop. So why does this matter? Because coaching requires emotional bravery, not emotional avoidance. I got to be brave every day that I get on this live. I'm done with screen time because I'm doing this for y'all. So when people start coming attacking me, and I used to tell this to my teams when I was at Frito-Lay, I'm like, I'm the umbrella. I'm shielding y'all from shit that y'all would never know what's going to happen. Motherfuckers be trying to come fuck with y'all. We're not doing that. No. I told you I contacted one of my old drivers, Terrence Orr, we called him T-Rock, and he's from Florida. He's like, you had your drivers' backs. That's what you did. You had our backs. And that's coming from an old country driver. And I'm telling you, all 120 of them, they knew, don't fuck with Orlando Traffic Center because you're going to have to deal with Donna. Back then, I wasn't Dr. Donna yet. And that's the way I see this right now. I'm like, no, you got to have a reason to live and a reason to die. And I would die for real leadership, point blank, period, because I know it's the right thing to do for humanity. I know it's the right thing to do for humanity. And I'm always take the hard right over the easy wrong. So yeah, I got to be superhuman. Superman is my favorite superhero. And I'm telling you, ain't going to be no kryptonite. Hijacked amygdala is Superman's kryptonite. And so you ain't gonna, no. Nobody ain't going to be able to hijack my amygdala because I know people going to be coming for me. And that's okay because their amygdala is going to be mad. Should have did your damn job. Point blank, period. So the next one is you got to shift from an ego-based control to empathetic perspective taking. And what happens is the old wiring says they just need to do it my way. No, you ain't got to do it my way. Do it your way. Kevin just said it. I take what I learned and I put it out there so it makes sense for me and the people that have chosen to follow him. New wiring. Let me step into their shoes to guide their growth. And that is what I have been doing. I'm trying to understand, what does it take? Why couldn't people hold themselves personally accountable for 365 consecutive days? I didn't keep blaming y'all. Stupid motherfuckers can't keep it. This don't even make no sense. How come you can't just hold yourself personally accountable? I kept saying, why is it not? Is it not possible? What's going on? And now I got it all the way down to this neurological. And now I got it all the way down to is the doggone hippocampus getting hijacked and all these other negativity biases and everything else that's stopping you neurologically from being able to create new neural pathways to do it because you didn't have these neural pathways. Lola didn't have any of these neural pathways 10 months ago. And now she has a bunch of them. They are firing and wiring. She is a perfect example of Hebb's law. And so the new wiring says, let me step into their shoes to guide their growth. That is what I am attempting to do. That's why I'm asking questions. If you don't know, ask is one of the 74 principles of real leadership because I'm seeking to understand and then be understood. And so the brain regions involved in this are the temporal parietal junctions, the anterior cingulate cortex, and the insular cortex. And why this matters is great coaching is adaptive, not prescriptive. I am flexible. Be flexible is one of the 74 principles of real leadership, and that's what this is about. Next is that you shift from directive patterning to reflective patterning. So the old wiring says, I already know the answer. I'll just tell them. No, not going to tell you. I just said at the beginning what the definition of coaching is. I present discomfortable things to you, and then you find your own answers. And what you see is whenever somebody answers a question, unless it's math, you all have different answers, especially if it's going to be an open question. And so the new wiring says, my role is to ask the questions that activates their solutions. I'm asking you questions. So when you go in your default mode network in your personal time, you think about it and then you come to your own conclusions. That's why, Kevin, when we was doing curious questions, you was like, I don't know how to answer this because you're not telling me what answer to have. Exactly. That's real leadership. And so the regions that are involved are the medial prefrontal cortex and the default mode network. And why this matters is that coaching stimulates learning when it activates inside base circuits. So you're going to go within. And then number 4, and that's it. Shift from fast thinking efficiency to slow thinking development. Old wiring. Coaching takes too long. I'll just fix it. New wiring. Investing time now saves rewiring time later. And it's the basal ganglia and the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. And why it matters is coaching builds long-term neural efficiency in others. I know that this is going to take the rest of my life to get done. I hope I live to be as old as my grandfather, if not older. He died at 93, because it's going to probably take 40 years for this to happen. So this is the long play. This is a long, when you see those searches, those neuroscience, scientific research, they say we were doing this research for 30 years. We were doing this research for 40 years. I mean, I am attacking something that has never been attacked before. I'm addressing something that has never been addressed before. And so it is, how do you create the best neuropathic experience for every adult in the world without talking to sea tortoises and seals and monkeys and everything else? Just go straight to the source. Just go straight to the source. And how does that work? So extraordinary coaching begins the moment your brain learns to listen for growth and not control. So the last thing that this is about for me is trying to control you. The last thing that this is about for me is trying to control you. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I figured it out. It's penicillin. It's E equals MC squared. It's PA plus 45 degrees equals B. That's what this is. This is neuroprobability. And I figured it out. And I just want the rest of the world to have the same experiences that you all are experiencing. I want it to happen for every adult, because people are mentally beating the shit out of their brain every day trying to figure out why they're fucked up, because unaccountable people in positions of power and authority who also have hijacked amygdalas have said, this is the only way. You were born, you look like this, you got to go stand over there. You can't come over here because of how you were born and your gender. Don't try to change your gender, because now you're going to have to go over there with that group. And I'm saying humanity. It's just one group. That's it. It's just humanity, human beings. That's it. Mammalians, to quote my my neuroscience instructor. So what questions do you have about coaching, comments, or anything? I'm going to switch over to the learning brain as a machine. We're going to answer our 3 questions and get on out of here. Thoughts, anything. If you don't have any questions, you can have reflections. If you are curious about something, I'm an open book. I will answer the question unless it's something that violates my integrity or top secret information. That's about it. Kevin, thank you for answering and clarifying your question. And remember, ... brain, so I know that you're thinking. And I'd like to add, Kevin, to what you said about, along with the fact that what we're doing isn't being done or practiced by any other group of people. Somebody's message was held for review. Dame Dash said, never hustle on a crowded block. And for me, if somebody is already doing it, we watch me speak live, and I'm not a public speaker anymore because there are a bunch of other people public speaking. I did that. I'm done. So you have to, when you get to self-actualization and you start working on your personal legend, you know it's yours because no one else is doing it. So when you get to that point, no one else should be doing it. Now, people, you can go and gather things that have been done in order to build this. Obviously, I'm on social media platforms, so this wouldn't happen if it weren't out for social media and AI and some other things. But this thing hasn't been done. And that's when you know you've reached Maslow's hierarchy of need of self-actualization. You've also started working on your personal legend according to the alchemist. And now you're here doing this thing that you're planting the trees for which shade you'll never sit. So you have to do things initially that were here so you can develop the skills and all of that you need. And then there is a point when you go off and you do something based upon all of the experience that you have that hasn't been done before, because quite frankly, I don't have nothing to lose. I've already done all that other stuff and checked all those other boxes. So I need a reason to get up in the morning and it can't be for another promotion, for another plaque, or for some bread. I already did all that. Okay. Noah said, no questions. I am a good coach. Most coaches, especially as it pertains to sports and such. Yes. Right. Noah said most coaches. I already typed my message. Okay. So Lola or Kevin, do you have anything else to add before I go to the brain as a learning machine? And I'll do that. If your answer pops up, then I will go back and read it. Okay. So your brain as a learning machine, I'm going to slide out the way. Kevin is thinking. Yeah, suck is what you said. It deleted it. No, it hid it. So the learning machine is right here. I thought that was a pretty cool graphic that Chat and I made yesterday. Kevin is thinking. Lola, we're almost at an hour. You may have to potentially go. If you do, just go ahead and type in what you learned so I will know. It does. It looks cool. I'm going to make it the post today for the Real Leader Brain. Oh, man, my whole back hurts. We didn't do anything. It just hurts. Okay, while you're typing, Kevin, I'm just go ahead and say that, and then I'll come circle back on yours. So the brain as a learning machine. The brain is the most powerful learning machine ever created. The brain is the most powerful learning machine ever created. Every moment, it's taking in data, scanning for patterns, updating pathways, and building new circuits. Whether you're brushing your teeth, leading a meeting, or learning a new skill, your brain is training. The more you train it, the more it learns how to learn. I'm going to say that again. The more you train it, the more it learns how to learn. And Noah, you just said that before we got on the live. So the neuroscience insight is this. Okay, Kevin said, I just Googled the definition of personal legend and it all makes sense now as to what you say and what you do. Thank you very much for Googling that, Kevin. I appreciate that. And so now we know that I am not building a cult. So that's wonderful. Thank you for that information. Yes. And what I will say, and then I'm going to go back to the neuroscience, I don't do anything without a strategy. That's why I'm saying ask me while I'm doing what I'm doing, because I'll make amygdala decisions that impact me long term. I'm going to make a prefrontal cortex decision. I'm going to sit down and say, what am I doing and why am I doing it? I don't do anything without a why, and I don't do anything without a strategy. So that when people come and try to tell me I don't know what I'm talking about, because I've been disruptive my whole life. I've been a disruptor probably since the 7th grade. Nola would argue 2nd grade when I won that candy sale. But at any point, I've been a disruptor longer than I've been anything else. And so if I see something and I know it could be done better, I'm going to disrupt it. I'm going to go do it better, master it, and move on. And I'm going to take that information and provide it backwards to the people who are coming behind me because I'm just built different. So I am. But I will be up there with the rest of the legends. They will be saying my name when they talk about the greats. My name will be right there with them because that's just why I came here. Okay. So neuroscience insight. The hippocampus, Lola, I learned that it's never too late to start a new positive journey, new neural pathways. That is correct. You are doing the thing, the doggone thing. Every day, Lola, I'm telling you, I'm very proud of you because, yes, I knew you could do it. Just close out with me today. Okay, got it, Kevin. It was happening to people yesterday. You got off and then it kicked off. Everybody got kicked off yesterday. All right, so I will say this. Neuroscience insight. The hippocampus encodes new memories. The prefrontal cortex organizes and prioritizes learning. The basal ganglia automates repeated tasks into habits. And the neuroplasticity of your brain means it rewires itself every time you practice, reflect, or repeat. Real leader perspective. Real leaders don't just consume information, they train their brain to process, apply, and evolve. Learning isn't an event, it's a daily habit. I'm going to say that again. Learning isn't an event, it is a daily habit. And my quote to close this out is: the brain is a learning machine. Fuel it with intention, train it with repetition, and lead it with purpose. So if you are able to, I know Kevin, you said close you out. Lola, you might be gone, but it's okay. Nola, you said, so what did you learn about yourself? What did you learn today? And then what brain conversations did you have yesterday? Nola said, I learned about myself. I have the foundations for a good coach. You do. And you also said, I learned the more you learn, the more you can learn, and it opens up your brain. And that is neuroscientifically proven. What happens is the hippocampus is where the learning takes place. Remember, that's our memory library. And so it rewards you with learning with more new neurons so you can create more synaptic connections and more neural pathways. And when you refuse to learn, you can't check out any books, any good books from the hippocampus library, and you can't go and make any withdrawals to do the same thing. The hippocampus is gonna be like, I'm not giving you no neurons for that. No, you are a neurological risk. You ain't got no good neurological credit over here. Last time I gave you some new neurons, you went and invested them in some doggone gaming Ponzi scheme, and then you wasn't even a gaming champion. I'm not giving you no more neurons. No, go fix the neurons that I already gave you. Now you got to do neuron repair. So you're going to people, yeah, see, I need to rebuild my neuron credit with the hippocampus bank. So they're going to give you small micro loans. That's what's going to happen. You're going to get 500 neurons. They ain't giving you 1,000. You can't. You got a neuron daily limit because you done messed up so many neural pathways. So the more you go and get it and master the skill, you get to go back and get more. You go to the bank when you got big business, you get a line of credit, they'll throw you $1 million. No problem. They're like, oh, that last project you did, that's awesome. Here, go here. Look, you can have 200 million neurons because you're doing good. You changing the whole damn world. So I get to make enormous daily withdrawals. But the more you learn, the more you learn. And the final thing, Noah said, I had a lot of brain combos yesterday. I did learn the key to my listening issues is linked to my minor case of autism, and I have everything that comes with it and got systems to fix it. Yes, because that is the purpose of real leadership. Real leadership is like Lowe's. You just go. I don't really like Home Depot. Lowe's is better in our opinion, but here for us, it could be different in other states, but we've been to multiple Home Depots throughout the area and they all suck. Lowe's is much better for what we need to do, the work we need to do, smaller projects. But the point is, just think of Lowe's. You go in Lowe's and you get everything you need. And if they don't have it, they will order it for you. They will have people tell you how to use it. Let us know how it went. Very great customer service, no matter which one you go to. Very helpful with all types of projects for us. And so that's what Real Leaders resources are. Yesterday, I hit 12,000 YouTube videos. And so those are resources for you. And you think about the synaptic connections and the neural pathways that I had to develop in order for these things to occur. I'm leading by example because that's one of the 74 principles of real leadership as well. Providing coaching, I can be coachable. It's no problem. I can lead, I can follow. And that's what all real leaders have the ability to do. And that's what makes us extraordinary. Because when you think of it, when you think of the Ritz-Carlton, you think of Second Mile Services. There are just certain things that when you say the name of it, you know exactly what you get. You say Walmart, you know, you know what you're getting. You say Ulit and breaking two. He was the first person to break 2 miles in the doggone 2 hours in the doggone marathons. And so there are certain names that you just hear and you just go, yep, that's extraordinary. And that's what it means. And it's at this everyday level. Everybody, I believe everybody with a brain that is somewhat functioning, because people got atrophied ass working memories, you can become extraordinary too because you have 86 billion neurons. And nobody will be able to argue me any other way because of the work that you all are doing. You are the early adopters and you are making it possible for other people to see you and go, well, dang, like Lola just said, I didn't think that you could learn that, but after a certain age, because they tell you at 65, you basically need to be sitting in the old folks' home doing Sudoku and left, right. You trying to do the memory games from when you was in elementary school, and I'm saying bullshit. That's Act 3. You just getting started, point blank, period. So that's the third act, and the final act should be the best act of any play, and anyone knows that. Yes, when you end, standing ovation, bravo, magnifique. That's what's supposed to happen when you're physically no longer here. So you all are doing extraordinary things. Like I said, you be a part of the Instagram subscription, because that's where you all can. It's a safe space for you to run ideas by each other. So it's my account, but that's the only place that you would be able to go to facilitate these things and not be out and about. And we're not about to be trying to go and take nobody out. That's not what that's for. But it is running ideas past each other and thinking, hey, so it is a community where you can actually have a safe space to neurologically bounce ideas off of each other and practice your real leadership, so then you can go off and be extraordinary. I used to say, when I had the Toastmasters Club, when I was the president of Lunchtime Talkers, I used to say, this is your hour of frog kissing. And frog kissing, you got to kiss a lot of frogs in order to find a prince. So it's where you make your mistakes. It's where you figure things out. It's the lab. It's Menlo Park. If we're talking about Thomas Edison, that's where it's happening at. TikTok is making some adjustments until September 13th. I don't know how I'm going to use that platform, because they're making adjustments to subscriptions, and it may be something totally different over there. I don't know until it switches all the way over. I don't know what functionality I will. Somewhat I do, but I don't know what it will be or will not be. Two different platforms. They can have two different purposes. I'm figuring this out because it doesn't exist. But what I am saying that currently is here is places for you. Learn over here, practice over there on Instagram, and build up all of your neural pathways so that where you are physically located, you can become more extraordinary than you already are, and you can change the communities in which you reside, so we can change humanity. And the A's and the B's and the back half of the Z's don't have to grow up in a world that we grew up in. That's the reality of the situation. So I thank you for your time every day, your devotion and commitment to yourself, your ability to help me improve. I'm like an algorithm. I get information from you, and I'm, to quote Miss Price, regurgitating it back out in a better, palatable manner. And that's what this is for me. So I don't have any ulterior motives. I'm not about to be Dr. Evil taking over the world. I don't feel like doing that. They got world leaders for that. It's not my thing. But I do want humanity to be better. I want people to understand that they have this powerful, amazing organ that they take around everywhere that they go, and it allows them to be extraordinary, and they don't have to be ordinary because you got 86 billion neurons. With that being said, I will be back tomorrow. God, higher power, and the universe willing. Same time, same place, safe space, different brain t-shirt. You all go off and have a brain-tastic day. Take care.